Saeed Ajmal took his tally of LV County Championship wickets this season to 60, as Worcestershire just about kept themselves ahead of Leicestershire on the second day of their match at New Road. Worcestershire added 4 runs to their overnight score of 317 for 9, Shaikh Chowdhury falling for 42, pulling a short delivery from Charlie Shrek to Angus Robson. Given that Worcestershire had opened up with a stand of 163, Leicestershire would have been pleased to have dismissed them for 321, with Josh Cobb showing some moments of inspiration with his captaincy. It was now left to Greg Smith and Robson to make the most of the efforts in the field. They put on 34 runs in 9 overs, but then lost Robson on 11, Jack Chantry winning an LBW decision, which the batsman seemed surprised about. Smith has often played second fiddle to Robson this summer, but here he played a major role for his side. He unleashed some delightful cover drives off Chantry to help his team get off to a very solid start. As ever, the visiting batsman would have been mindful of the threat of Ajmal, who was waiting in the wings. He was brought into the attack to bowl the 17th over, while his fellow spinner Chowdhury was introduced in the 22nd, and in that over Smith eased his way to a half-century, made off 68 deliveries. It had been an excellent knock from the 25-year-old, who thus far struck 9 fours. By the time lunch arrived, Ajmal had delivered 5 overs without success, and Smith and Ned Eckersley, who scored 300s against this opposition last year, had taken their side to a total of 98 for the loss of Robson's wicket in reply. Another 27 runs were added to that early on in the afternoon, with Eckersley taking his score onto 48. But he was then the latest man to fall to Ajmal, who bowled him with one that kept low. Eckersley was out just 2 runs shy of his 50. This, though, was not the Ajmal show, as some would have expected. He will soon be heading off to Sri Lanka, and Worcestershire will have to deal without him for a while. Their other bowlers have all done well this year, but on this occasion they found it tough to get either Dan Redfern or Smith out, as they started to put their side on top with a 3rd wicket partnership of 74 runs in 16 overs, which carried the total to 194, the deficit now standing at 127. Worcestershire needed a wicket, and it was Ajmal who provided it when Smith, who'd batted so well for his 85, was well held by Tom Kohler-Cadmore off the edge. Smith would have been pleased with his efforts, as would Redfern, the former Derbyshire player, who also made an encouraging half-century. It was reached with his 11th 4 off his 63rd delivery, and was followed up with a 12th boundary off the very next ball from Chantry. But to the delivery after that, Chantry won an LBW appeal against the left-hander before running down the pitch to celebrate right in the batsman's face. Redfern was on his way for 57. That showed just how much in need of the wicket Worcestershire were. Niall O'Brien tried to keep the positive approach going from the visitors by pulling Charlie Morris for a maximum. At 244 for 4 and trailing by only 77 runs, Leicestershire would have fancied getting a decent first innings lead, but their last 6 wickets fell for 36 runs after O'Brien edged a drive off Morris to Darryl Mitchell, who held on at the second attempt. In the next over, Ajmal went up for an LBW but got the wicket of Rob Taylor with a catch by Alexei Kavesi instead. Ajmal was using all of his many variations, and he bamboozled Cobb, who was LBW this time, the ball doing enough to hit the back pad. Jig and Ache was then bowled by Joe Leach to a ball which almost ran along the ground, before the medium pacer removed Nathan Buck, who nicked behind to Ben Cox. Leach took 3 wickets in the space of 11 balls to complete the innings, Charlie Shrek lasting just 3 balls before he was bowled. From 244 for 4, Leicestershire were all out for 280, Ajmal taking 4 for 66. Worcestershire had maximum bowling points for the 23rd match in a row. That gave them a lead of 41, and after 21 more runs were added to that, Buck, having a fine season with the ball, had Mitchell caught behind. Before 4 balls later, he trapped Tom Fell in front for a duck, that being the 13th and last of the wickets to fall on this day. Leicestershire would have liked more in the remaining 9 overs, but Richard Oliver kept his composure to see the day through, playing James Sykes handsomely off the back foot as he struck 5 fours in his undefeated 35. The opener has an important role to play on day 3. Worcestershire go into it on 48 for 2, and that gives them a lead of 89 runs to take into the second half of this match. Leicestershire will not want to be chasing more than 250 in the fourth innings of the match, one where Ajmal has tended to come into his own this year.